Luther Rice had essentially they were hosting a regional convention, and they wanted us down there to be a part of that. And so we had a good opportunity to meet some of the guys physically in person. We see each other online all the time, and it was good. Presented a paper in a class, and so anyway, just one of those things for, I guess, the sake of experience. And thankful for that. Becca surprised us or surprised me. I guess everyone else knew. And she was able to fly down for my birthday, and so she got here. Ended up flight getting delayed late Saturday night. And so we've enjoyed some time with her, and she'll be heading back, Lord willing, extremely early tomorrow morning. And so anyway, pray for that. They had, I don't know what they ended up with, somewhere probably around 27 to 30 inches of snow. And so anyway, I know they are buried. And so Jared just started getting out yesterday, starting to run some of the milk runs. And so I know they've had quite a few challenges. And so she's been down here, and she'll end up back in Winter Wonderland tomorrow. So but we've enjoyed our time with her as well. So certainly thankful, and it's been good to see her. Well, let's get into our study this morning in 1 John chapter number 2, and familiar verses, but I think we need to be reminded of them, and be reminded of the importance of being, as I titled this, governed by eternity. And there's a reality that oftentimes we are focused on the wrong things. And John challenges our mindset here. And I think we need to take a good look and see really where all of our efforts are and what it is that we are wanting out of life. And we see a lot here in 1 John chapter 2. He says in verse number 15, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever." So the instruction, love not the world. Don't give yourself, don't give all of your affection and make all of those sacrifices on behalf of the world, the system of the world. We're not speaking of the system as far as like a planetary system with all of the planets and all that stuff. But what we're speaking of is a system that is in opposition to God. And John says, listen, don't go there. Don't love that system that hates God. And you know, it's interesting how many times really we battle this and the struggle that is there. We look around and we can see the world and we can see all these tangible things, and there's so much about the Christian life that is intangible. We can't touch it, we can't taste it, we can't see it, but yet we're just supposed to embrace that by faith. And there's a reality about the world that we can see. We can experience these things. It can be now, and we can feel that sense of satisfaction and gratification and all that. And in reality, what we find ourselves doing is loving the very system that it hates God. And as believers, this is something that cannot take place. And he explains quite an interesting statement. If anyone loves the world, then the love of the Father is not in him. Does this mean that he's an unsaved person? I don't know that you can necessarily conclude that from this, because I do think there are, believers that are going to struggle with this. But I will say this: it's clear that if a person is loving the world, he is not loving God. Matthew chapter 6 reminds us that you cannot serve God and mammon or money. You'll either hate the one and love the other, or you can't have two masters. And that's clear in Matthew 6. And I think that's really probably more the focal point of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. The point is then that there's no such thing as a Christian that is getting the best of both worlds. It's impossible. It is a mutually exclusive thing. It's one or the other. And unfortunately, too many Christians are putting all of their effort and all of their energy into something that does not last. And so we're challenged here with this, that we should not be have an affection, and it's really a devotion. It's a sacrificial love for the things of the world, because in reality is that is the very thing that hates God. And he explains this in verse 16. For all that is in the world. So everything that is characterized by this system. And again, what we're speaking of is a system that is in opposition to God. All that is in the world. And he goes and gets a little bit more specific. The lust of the flesh. In other words, those desires that the flesh wants. And we all have them. Okay. Now, yours may be a little different. They may be tailored. They may be customed, but there's a reality that there are desires that our flesh wants, things that are not right. And we desire these things. All that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the desires for the things that the eyes see. And man, we can look at things and man, before long, we're just coveting that and desiring it. It looks as though it's going to be so fulfilling for us. And then it also says the pride of life, the arrogance of life. And it may have this sense here in this particular context, maybe even of success, the arrogance that comes from that, the pride maybe in our possessions that we are seeking to define life by. I think there are probably some broad ways this can be taken, but he says all these things are not of the Father, but very strong contrast, they are of the world. They're part of this system, and they come out from within the system. This doesn't originate with God. Now, when we look in Genesis chapter 3, if you were to compare the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, you would see each dimension of that referenced in Genesis chapter 3. I think personally you can find this in the temptation of Jesus in Matthew chapter 4. That's one passage. It's in other Gospels as well. In fact, I think all four Gospels mention it. Mark mentions it very briefly. But the point is that there's a reality where these are the things that Satan uses to appeal to us. And then he goes on and he explains this. And the world passeth away, in verse 17, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. This is where I say governed by eternity. We are so focused on, for so many times, so much of life on the realities of things that are temporary, things that are fleeting. And everything that we see, all the things that we put so much energy and effort into, is one day going to pass away. We put so much energy into acquiring more possessions, into earning more money, and we're going to die one day, and that's going to be gone. What are we going to have left? He that doeth the will of God abideth forever. What a challenge for us to really look at our values, to look at where we're putting all of our energy and our resources, our time, and all of these things. Are we putting these things for God? Are we doing these things that are truly going to last? Or are we instead governed by the wrong thing? And how do we know this? Well, take a good look and see your attitudes toward things, your possessions, towards money. What do you sacrifice to get more money? You sacrifice your family, you sacrifice church, you sacrifice your relationship with God. If so, then these are indicators that say, okay, wait a minute, I'm not governed here by the right things. And there are so many Christians today who live their lives governed by the wrong things, and unfortunately, they are going to reach the end of their life. And they're going to have a life that is full of regrets, and they're going to have, at the end, nothing to show for their entire life. I don't think we want to live that way. I don't think you do. Let's take a good look at our value system and see maybe some ways in which God might challenge us through these things. Thank you so much for being a part of things. And Lord willing, I should be back and be able to do the live tomorrow. If I'm not, there's definitely been quite the problem. We should be leaving the house somewhere a little before 3, and so I should be back around 5:30 in the morning. So anyway, looking forward to the day. Glad Beck's able to be with us. Looking forward to the time with the family tonight. And so we'll see. Kid Zone's going to be tonight. I'll not be around there for that, but that's okay. It's designed to function without me, and it needs to. And so that'll be tonight. Hope you're able to join us for that. and be in prayer for that program. Really want to see that go well and continue to grow. And so we're thankful for each of the workers and those who put their energy into that. Well, God bless you guys. Appreciate you being on here. Take care.